right, we're going live, so.
Okay. Going live, everybody. We're live. Everybody choose it.
Choose.
Huh?
Choose.
Oh, she's breathing on me.
All right, and we are live.
Yay! I need to get my phone so I can what's going on here.
There we go.
Welcome to Facebook. Dominic.
Dominic. Silly boy. Well, hello, Facebook land. Let's, how do I share this stuff out there? How do I get people to, there we go. All right, well, hello. Let's see if we can get a few people to join us here today. So we're talking about New Year's resolutions and the fact that for some, we've already broken those. And it is what, the 11th today, 111. So how do we make them stick? That is our topic this morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at.
Yes, I don't.
All right. We on Facebook. All right. Well, very good. Looks like we got a couple folks joining us. And one of the things for those of you that are joining us on Facebook that we would love to know is, did you set any New Year's resolutions or did you set any outcomes for 2019? And if so, if you would share, what are they? And how are you doing? So we are, like I said, 10 full days. This is day number 11. I'm pretty sure that's the date today. Yep, January 11th. And how's it going? And I can absolutely tell you, so I did set outcomes for 2019, and I've set lots of New Year's resolutions and things in the past. And sometimes I've been super successful at making them happen, and a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times I haven't. And so where does the success come from? What's the key to it? And what is it? Why do we really do this? And even what's the benefit of setting outcomes? Dominic and I just finished a class yesterday, and we reminded people that if you don't set outcomes, that how do you ever know where you're going, right? Whatever you are experiencing in your life right now, that's what you're going to experience if you don't set outcomes to get to that next level. So definitely need to know what it is that you want in your life and what that looks like. So I will start and tell you. So one of my outcomes for 2019 is a very consistent meditation practice, because I know that when I get present and I calm all of those stories that I'm telling myself all of the time, and I get calm, that everything in my day works better. And I don't have to do it for a long time. It's just, focusing on my breathing and doing that. And it is one of those things that has not become like brushing my teeth to me. I know the benefits of it. I'm clear the difference that it makes in my life. And so my commitment is to do it every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. And I will tell you, I've already broken that. I have. And I'm not proud of that. But during the class this week, I didn't do it for a couple of days. I did it again this morning. And for me, that's one of the big keys is if I fall down, is getting back up on the horse, as we use metaphors, as quickly as possible. Because one of the things that I know about me, at least in the past, not so much anymore, is that once I fell down, I would be like, oh, well, I already broke that, whatever. And I wouldn't necessarily get right back up on the horse. And so, and it's also for me, it was checking in. Is this something that's really important to me? Or was I just interested versus being committed? And I'm absolutely committed, which is why exactly first thing that I did this morning, as soon as I woke up, is I did my meditation. So that's just one example for me. So High5, we've got 4 of our High5 on today. What about you guys? Have you set any outcomes for 2019, and how's it going for you?
I actually had a similar one. I set one for meditation, and it's going less than awesome. However, I am committed to it and frankly, I realized I know the difference that it makes, and in my mentality and outlook and worldview. So I am committed to making it happen. And so now so part of what shuts me down on these things is that I'm looking for the perfect circumstance and time, and now would be good, and oh my god, if I didn't do it first thing in the morning, then what's the point, and all the stories that I have around how it should look. And I realize that really it's just about quieting my mind. And so even if I take 5 minutes to just sit still and be quiet and not have anything going on, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I love what you
said. That would be my advice to anybody who sets an outcome. It's not always going to be perfect or look perfect, and it, however it works for you, is still beneficial.
Yes, I love that, Michelle. I love it because it's not always going to fit into that little perfect box, right? And in reality, there's probably I could probably give myself credit for some like 30-second meditations during class when we're focused on breathing. And maybe that's what it needed to look like in those days. And I think every time that we fall down, the biggest thing around that is the self-reflection, which is why is this even an outcome for me? Right? Because if it's not important and I'm not connecting to why it's important, I'm likely not going to do it. And I'm going to make excuses, because it's not the right time or whatever that is. So beautifully said. Yay. Thank you. Looks like we got a few folks joining us on Facebook today. So thank you. I'm excited to hear. What are your outcomes for 2019 as well? How about Dominic, Kevin? You have any?
Yeah, I do. For me, it was a training, and what I've learned is, up until now, I was not the type of person that planned ahead or liked to do anything that felt I wasn't absolutely ready for. So if I wanted a pool in my backyard, I did not shop for a pool because I don't have the money for it right now. I didn't go house shopping. I don't like window shopping if I'm not buying anything. I don't like doing anything ahead of time unless I'm going to do it. So that did not benefit me in the training perspective, because the processes that I was training for maybe if I'm only training one or two processes of what we do in a classroom, that's all I would work on. I wouldn't work on anything past that because I'm not going to do that anyway. Was an old story. It's a story that didn't benefit me because if I didn't do that, then I never ever would be ready for that. So the focus, my 2019 focus was to be an assistant trainer on my way to becoming a master trainer by the end of the year. And in order to do that, I am now going forward with those. So my monthly goal is I've attached a couple of new things to learn in order to get there. Things that I'm not going to do for a while, but I understand that that's what's going to get me to that's what's my why is. That's what's going to get me there. So it's okay to go ahead and move forward rather than just doing good enough.
Yeah.
Actually going past that. And then the goal becomes clearer and clearer by the month. So I've set the yearly goal, but I've also set the monthly goal, which I'm well on my way to achieving. And then I set another one for February and I'm stepping that up. And so then my goals from day to day from the monthly are to exceed whatever I had planned to be ahead of the schedule by the end of the month. So I know where at least I want to be. And I had some really good conversations with Kevin. The coaching with Kevin is so important that we offer to you that I've actually done a session with him about learning the difference between goals, outcomes, and aims. And it comes in really handy, and I would subscribe. That's what's helped me to get to that point right now of the differences between those to help me to get to my outcomes eventually.
So do you want, well, one of you, either Kevin or you, do you guys want to talk about that then? The difference between the aim,
Sure.
the difference between a goal and an aim?
Yeah. It's funny because as Dominic was saying that, I thought, oh, well, I should talk about aiming. You know, the analogy that I heard that made this very clear for me was told about the ancient Hawaiians and how they would navigate between islands when all they had was their canoe and the stars. And so if they were at one island and their outcome was to get back to Hawaii, all they had were the stars. And so what they would do, they knew each night where a particular star was going to be, and it would only be in the sky for a very short amount of time. So what they would do is they would get in their canoe and they would point the canoe at the star. They would aim at the star, knowing that they were never going to get to the star. They didn't need to get to the star. They just needed to get back to Hawaii, but they knew Hawaii was in the direction of the star. So they would aim at the star, and then when the star went away for the night, they would just keep paddling as best they could in that direction. And then the next night when the star would come up, they would readjust based on where they had gotten. They would point back at the star and keep going. So their goal was to get to Hawaii. Their aim was above and beyond the goal. And so that's what Dominic is talking about is what's my really out there aim? What am I aiming for? And then what are my stepping stones in between? I may never get to what I'm aiming at, but my goal is to head in that direction and to get as far as I can, right? So it's a little confusing maybe because it sounds like, well, you know, so what are you aiming at? Well, in his case, what he's aimed at right now is master trainer. Along the way, the goal is I got to get to assistant trainer first. So I know what it takes to get to master trainer. That's the star. And that's what I'm pointing at. And what are the in-between stops along the way that get me there? So for those of you that use our journal, we talk about in the journal, what's your daily outcome, right? So the daily outcome leads me to my 30-day outcome. My 30-day outcome leads me to my 6-month outcome. My 6-month outcome leads me to my 2019 outcome. My 2019 outcome is pointed towards the stars, right? Whatever that, because if we don't have an aim, then wherever we get, we'll be fine. So having the aim gives us a path. And what we might find is that what we think the aim is really high and far out there and I'll never get it. And as we get these stepping stones, all of a sudden we look up and we're at the star. Now it's about raising the aim again and pushing it further out, because that's kind of like what draws us along the path. And then it's about looking up periodically, right? Just like the Hawaiians did. Look up periodically and go, oh, I was paddling in this direction, but the aim is over there. And so now I got to course correct and get back on track, understanding that circumstances are going to come up along the way, right? A class is going to come up and it's not convenient to meditate at the same time as you would on another day. That's a circumstance. And so how do you deal with that and figure out how do I adjust to the circumstance? How do I course correct so that I stay on the path?
Yeah, God, so there's so much about that I love. So first off, I'm going to address the very last thing that you said, which is I already have a plan in place because I got another class next week. I already have a plan in place to make sure I get my meditation in. So yay. Because I recognized I needed that. And the other thing that I love about the whole AIM thing, because terminology that we've used for the last couple of years is dreams. Because so really the AIM is it could be one of our dreams and
Sure.
the step. So the dream to be a master trainer. And I do love that, because then there's the next dream, right? And then the next dream beyond that. So love that. Let's talk about.
And I like Kevin's connection with
Go
that.
ahead.
The way it tied in, just to clarify, the dream, the aim of being a master trainer in the original orientation that I heard about the Hawaiians, are never going to reach the star. I am going to reach master trainer, but I'm not going to be a master trainer in the month of February. So that's why it's my star right now. When I become master trainer, then it's a new night again. Then I'm readjusting for another star. So
Yeah, that's cool. It really is a great analogy. I like that one. What was that?
What Mike Sullivan said.
Yeah, I stole Mike's term.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just acknowledging it. I just didn't say Mike. But love you, Mike.
Yeah.
Well,
So Kat Humpus, who sadly had to leave us, said that more self-love, contentment, and simplicity, and getting a better, more hands-on approach with her finances. Those are her outcomes for 2019. She didn't comment on where she was with any of it because she had to go. But that's one person.
awesome.
Yeah, interesting. We're having this conversation about meditation practices, because that also is one of my outcomes. And much like the consensus I'm hearing here, it's, I understand the value of it, and it's important to me from a clarity and a centering perspective, and I haven't been doing it consistently. So it's just about, for me, one of the biggest lessons here in the things that I'm not doing consistently that I say I want to, is being kind to myself when I realize that I'm not meeting those outcomes, and just changing the approach, or in some cases, making the choice to change the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to say, this was important to me and I set it as an outcome, but I'm not doing it. So I'm more interested than committed. And so the question is it something that I'm just interested in? And if it is, that's fine. Take it off the outcome list and just put it on the interest list. And then I don't have to feel bad when I don't do it consistently. But if it really is important to me, if it really is an outcome, then figuring out what's my why, what's the benefit to me. And so that's, in our formula of outcome setting, once you set the outcome, the next thing we have everybody do is come up with what are the benefits of reaching that outcome, because the benefits are what drive us. And if there's not enough benefit to me, if I don't understand the benefits, or if the benefits I listed don't motivate me, well, then it's pretty clear why I don't do it. And so going back and reconnecting to the benefit. So it's important to say, yes, this is my outcome, but why did I want this? It always goes back to the why, right? Why do I want this outcome? How is that going to benefit me? And when I revisit those whys, those benefits, then it gives me the motivation that I'm looking for to say, okay, so how do I come up with a different plan for when I'm in class? How do I make it happen? Understanding that, every morning when I wake up, it would be okay to take 10 minutes and do meditation right away.
Yep. So I'm going to give an example of something that I have been super successful at. Well, okay. I've had a cycle, and that's eating, right? So I have been very focused at times in my life where I've gotten super fit. Exercise, diet, all of that's been in alignment, feel really good. So maybe I've been, my outcome was to get ready for a race or something like that. Got there, and then I lost focus. And so as a result of that, I've done this in my health and fitness all of my life up until now. And one of the things that I get so clearly is that what Kevin said is the why, and to truly change my story and my thinking about whatever that is. So in my case, and I've shared before, I don't eat sugar and flour. And so I was telling the class, it's like the cheesecake, or no, the carrot cake showed up for dessert. And I looked at it, and that happens to be something that I have some fond memories of. And it really is so easy for me now, while I had a moment to say, that's not my food. That's not what I do anymore, and it's not what I eat. And so there's the consistency for me in literally changing my story around that and saying true to my why is important. And what I know about me, so there's been many times in my life where I've stopped eating or doing something, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'll just do it this one time. And then that one time turned into, oh, well, I'll just do it this time. And then I'll do it. And all of a sudden the chai tea lattes started creeping back in, and now I had them every day again. And yes, the chai tea lattes have to come up in every single Facebook Live. But I haven't had one in 8 months, so yay. And
really, there's a little bit of a hangover about it too.
Well, it's just a good example. Yeah, and I stopped. I stopped doing it before, and then it's like, okay, well, I'll have one a week. And for me, and I'm not saying that this has to apply to anybody else, but for me, I needed the consistency, and I can go back and track back to where I have been successful in keeping my commitments, my outcomes, my New Year's resolutions. I don't care what we call them. It is when I am consistent. And as soon as I take my eye off the outcome is when it goes back down. So those things that we want in our life, it's okay to just do that forever, to truly get to a different level of consistency. Because I noticed for myself, as soon as I started getting complacent, as soon as I started getting lazy around whatever that was, then the old behaviors and the old patterns and everything just crept right back in very quickly. And so it really is, what's my why? Staying really focused on the why and not getting complacent around that.
So you made me think of somebody that at least was on here earlier. I don't know if she still is or not, Laura Paskett. So she just posted today that she hit the 50-pound mark of weight loss. So she's been focused on an outcome of better health and exercise, and has been sharing her journey on there. And I just want to give Laura a big high five. Her her focus word this year of 2019 is joy, and so she is choosing joy, and she's doing all the things that that we teach at High 5. And I can't speak for her, but just based on what I'm observing is that, you know, she's focused on going to the gym and exercising and supporting and being kind to herself and doing all the things, and the results are showing. So high five to you, Laura.
Yep.
Give yourself
And Laura, keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the consistency. And so that's what you were talking about, right? Is the consistency is that just the old behaviors, we've been practicing that programming. So we talk about programming in our class, right? Our programmed listening, our programming. And so that's just our programming, what we've been practicing, not going to the gym, not eating right, not meditating. We've been practicing those things. And so it takes a long time to write that, to carve that new groove in our brain by doing that new behavior and letting it become the new programming.
Yep.
And it needs to be about the behavior and the lifestyle and the healthy choices. And this is not to condemn anybody who is working on losing weight. However, from my personal experience, I know what happens if I'm focused on a number on the scale. I hit that number and I go, oh, I'm cured. Yay. And I go right back to my old habits. And guess what? I go right back to where I was. So my recommendation based on that, because I know that about my personal experience, is that just keep the consistency and the focus on being healthier and happier and as a result of being healthier, and what that looks like as opposed to the number on the scale.
Yep.
You know, Nancy just posted something that I agree with 100%. And it goes to what you're talking about, Barb, about your chai teas. 100% is easier than 99%. So you wrote a blog about that a few months ago, and that had a big impact on me too, right? It's that when I'm only 99% committed, when I can have that piece of candy on occasion because it's a reward for my behavior change. No, that's 99%, and that's what creates the slippery slope, and makes it easy to say, oh well, you know, one piece was okay, maybe 2 pieces is okay, and then all of a sudden I'm back to a candy bar a day. So it's that choice of being 100% committed. To how interesting how that 1% of interest
Derails the whole thing.
Derails the entire train.
I cannot eat just one Cheeto. So it's better
That's
for me.
true, she can.
So it's better for me to just not eat any Cheetos.
No Eatos. No Eatos for Michelle.
Yeah, you're right.
Annie said, yes, how we look at food and exercise can impact our level of success and consistency with lifestyle changes regarding our health. And I agree completely. And the other thing that I noticed as we start to wrap this up is when I got consistent about my health and my food, everything else in my life changed as well. I got more consistent with how we do stuff at High5. I got more consistent with a lot of things. And so when I started to truly trust myself and keep my word as it related to my eating, then everything else changed. And there has been so much more momentum in my life in the last 6 or 8 months as a result of that. So changing something up in one area of our life can make an impact in other areas of our life as well. And so
Barb, something about that. I'm going back and looking for a post that I did a couple of days ago in Momentum that talked about alignment and how important that is. Let me see if I can just find it here quickly, because so everybody talks about hustling, and how important hustling and hard work is. And what the simple meme said was that it crossed out the word hustle and it wrote align. It said, destroy the idea that you have to be constantly working on grinding in order to be successful. Embrace the concept that rest, recovery, and reflection are essential parts of the progress towards a successful and ultimately happy life. But the key to that for me is that word align. When you're in alignment, when you get an alignment in the most important area, it spreads to the other areas as well. And so having that alignment of mind, body, soul, emotion, creating that alignment, spending some time doing things like meditating, setting these outcomes, and journaling, all the things that we talk about, creating that alignment, it actually then expands into all those important areas of our life. My encouragement to those people listening is, what's the one place in your life that if you got alignment, that if you truly set some outcomes and focused on them and got committed to them, where would that create alignment for you? And then watch what it does with the other areas of your life as well.
Yep. Love it. Good stuff. All right. Well, let's wrap up. A couple of things though. If you guys have not, we put it out on the Momentum group, and I think Michelle, you've put it out here too, our free journal offer. Yep. So we have our journal that we all use every day. But you can get it in PDF format, and it's absolutely free to download and use. That's our gift as we go into the new year, to be able to develop the consistent habits and to reflect on our day and what that is. So that's available to you. We'll make sure that we put that out there a couple more times so that you can download that. And if you would like any assistance in getting clear about what your outcomes are, we've also put an offer out that will be ending shortly, but to do that, so in honor of 2019, to do it for $19, to have a session with one of our team that really just helps you get clear on what that is. So you can reach out to us and we can get that set up and make that happen for you. So whatever you choose, consistency, leadership is a practice, all of those great things. And the bottom line, as we love to talk about, is you're at choice. So make the choices that create the high five moments, that create your high five life. Because what the bottom line is, we just want you to love your life, and we're on your team to help you do that, and however we can support you to do that. So thank you for showing up and joining us.
You have on your
Say again?
Yeah, make sure you have on your calendar for Tuesday, the 29th. Our next High Five Live is on the 29th. I think 5:30 Pacific time, so 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Yep. See you then.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Norma, for the love. All right, guys. Love you all. Have an incredible day.
Bye.
And of course, you know what to do. Choose joy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.